What's up everyone, how are we doing today? It is March 20th, 2026, Friday, and in this video I'm going to be going over today's price action. The one trade we took, ended up banking off of that, and yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright, so coming into the day, my bias was very neutral, and the reason being is that this was around 2 a.m. We had 6 a.m., which created a little bit lower of a candle. However, in this situation, right, what do we see? We have our 4-hour bearish gap right here, which we tapped into. We created a couple intermediate highs. And then also we have this bearish gap, or sorry, we had this bullish gap right here, which we ended up displacing through. So we're clearly disrespecting our bullish gaps and we are respecting our bearish gaps, as you can see with these intermediate highs. But right now we are currently trading lower and we are respecting this 4-hour gap right here. And in this 4-hour gap, we ended up creating an intermediate low right here. So this is my main draw on liquidity. I can clearly see that price wants to go lower. We're disrespecting our bullish gaps. We're respecting our bearish gaps. And right now I want to see price tap into this 4-hour gap, or more realistically, sweep out this 4-hour intermediate low. Now we also had this intermediate high right here in the 4-hour bearish gap above us. I have two situations in which I would want to see price play out. I want to see number one, we come up to this gap, we take out this 4-hour intermediate high, and then we start displacing lower to our 4-hour intermediate low right here. Or if we end up displacing through and we end up disrespecting this bullish gap, and I would love to target our major external liquidity, which are these equal lows right here. Or we could have had an in-between move where maybe we tap into the 4-hour gap, sweep this out, come up a little, and then continue down lower. Any of these ideas really would have worked, but the main goal is that we were either going to target this external liquidity or this external liquidity, or maybe take continuation shorts to the 4-hour. Now, as we got closer to open, we ended up creating this hourly bearish gap right here, and now we are starting to trade inside of this, which is giving me more conviction that price wants to go down, right? Or in the hourly time frame, we established that price wants to go lower. We have these highs that haven't been swept yet. However, we created a bearish gap and now we're trading into it. Now, I want to see price pull down from this and take a continuation short to this intermediate low. Now, in the 15-minute time frame, we could also target one of these swing lows right here, but we also have to be wary because we did create a bullish 15-minute gap right here. And after forming this 15-minute, we ended up tapping right into it. So now we could potentially see this move come back up and then eventually flush down. Now, if you were bullish in this position, which I have no idea why you would be bullish, this was like not a good long opportunity to my play. We are clearly displacing so much lower, and I just wouldn't take longs in this position. However, I can see why some people will want to take longs. They might make the excuse or make the example that, oh, look, we formed our 15-minute bullish gap and we started manipulating up. We retapped into it and now we're going to shoot up to here. Maybe we could target these equal highs right here. And I don't really like this play, to be honest. And the main reason I don't is I have no conviction that price wants to go up, right? Maybe if we wanted to scalp and quickly get a lower time frame entry up here, like sure, but we're just creating so many gaps and so much displacement to the downside that I really don't see this as anything good. And at market open, we can clearly see prices displacing lower, and a few minutes go by and price starts to retrace up. Now, in this position, if you wanted to long, I think there was a, 5-minute? Yeah, there was a 5-minute gap right here. So if you saw that get displaced through after we tapped into the 15-minute, sure, like you could have taken it and targeted these equal highs right here. However, like I said, I wasn't too big of a fan of this idea. If this does play out, I have way too much conviction that price is going to go lower. But if you really wanted that one-to-one trade and you were just forcing trades for some reason, sure, I'm not mad at this. And when I'm seeing this live, I'm like, okay, this is a potential inverse opportunity. Maybe we could try to get longs. Maybe we could try to not. But it doesn't play out, and that's okay. And the reason I'm saying this is that you have to be very reactionary to price. If you have a higher time frame bias, a narrative that price is going to go down, and you see an opportunity for a quick scalp, for a quick one-to-one when on the bullish time frame, on the lower time frame, even though your higher time frame bias might be bearish, on the lower time frame, if you see a quick opportunity, right, we tapped into a 15-minute fair value gap, and now we want to see price take these equal highs. I believe this would be for a nice one-to-one if this did end up closing. So yeah, it would be a one-to-one trade if that ends up playing out. But you always have to be looking for opportunities and looking what the market wants to do. So just because your higher time frame bias might be something else, you might be able to take a bullish play here if all your conditions are met. So just be reactionary, always look at every single opportunity presented because you never know, those might play out. However, in this case, price doesn't end up playing and we end up continuing lower. So after that, price just keeps dumping and we disrespect that gap. And what ends up happening is that we end up creating a 5 minute gap between these two candles. And now I want to see price retap into this gap and then take shorts from this. And if we actually go back to the 1 minute, we can see that, okay, price is playing out. And boom, right here, we actually created a 1 minute inversion. And I believe we had a higher time frame. I think it was a 2 minute that I took. Yeah, so we actually created a 2 minute inversion gap right here. And now price retraces into the 5 minute bearish gap. And now I want to see next candle displace through this and take a 1-to-1. So we create this gap, and then we ended up displacing heavily through this. Now, since the candle had such great displacement, this gives us more conviction that price really wants to shoot down. So this is a great thing. So this is where I had my entry. I had my stop loss at the top of this candle, and then I had my target at that 4-hour intermediate low I was talking about. Remember, we created it right here. This is our main major external liquidity draw, and that's exactly what we were targeting. We were trading up here earlier on the day, and boom, like I said, price is going to continue down. And so this is our entry. And so let me go in the 2 minutes just because that's what I was looking at. And if we watch price play through, boom, 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 we ended up taking that profit super easily. This is a super clean trade. We created an inversion on our 2 minute after tapping into a bearish 5 minute fair value gap. And we just rode that down to our 4-hour intermediate low, that major external liquidity that we marked out in the beginning of the session. So this was a great trade in my opinion. Everything worked out. We didn't end up getting any chop right here for a while. We didn't push higher. We just continued down. Super clean, super fast. I believe what that was 950 to 10. Yeah, it was like 5 minutes in the chart, 5 minutes in the trade. Super easy, super clean. And after that, I got off. I took my piece of the pie. I did my one trade for the day, and I'm good. There's no need for me to get greedy and start revenge trading. Actually, it's not even revenge trading. I guess it would be greed trading or something like that. There's no point for me to just go ahead and try to look for more trades unless we were in a rare scenario where we were actually like displacing heavily to a major external liquidity draw. But in this case, it's just very awkward for us. We are in this 4-hour gap still. So do we want to go up? Are we going to respect this? Are we going to push down to the equal lows? I don't know. That's what price is going to show us later on. Maybe overnight, maybe next week. We'll find out. But that was a trade, right? It was super simple. We had everything in play. Higher time frame narrative bearish. We tapped into a 5 minute bearish gap, created a 2 minute inversion, took that to our major external liquidity, which is that 4-hour low. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's honestly like super high conviction trade. A little bit riskier just because I knew that was going to play out. Sometimes you can just feel it. Sometimes you can just tell when a trade is going to be more in your favor, like an A+ trade or B+, or however you want to rate it. I don't have a rating system. Sometimes I'll say like A+, B+, but I just go off my personal vibe, personal memo. I've been on the charts for a few years, so I kind of understand how it moves and what price wants to target. So in this case, I had more conviction. Price wanted to go down, and I was fine with being a little bit riskier on the trade. So I was trading on my live account, so that was $200. Just because this is a live account and it's not as much capital as like a funded or anything, my risk management is very different. But I also have that link to Tradecopia, 4 other accounts, but I have multipliers on those. So 200 on the live account and 1,200 from the fundeds. The reason I'm risking so low is because on the funded accounts, I really don't like trading with them that much just because of all the rules and the consistency. And like, it really doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's not even trading anymore. It's more of you're playing their game, and I don't really find it fair. I mean, it's fair. Like, they're giving you the capital and they're paying people out. So I guess, but just live accounts so much better. You don't have to worry about any BS rules or any of this. Obviously, not everyone can build up to a live account right now, or not everyone can have access to one, but overall building, reinvesting your payouts, and just investing personal money into a live account is going to be very good for you. If you are just starting out, do not make a live account. That is the dumbest thing ever. You're probably going to blow that. So yeah, don't do that. But anyways, that's it. That's all I have for you. Hope you guys like this video. If you want to see more content like this, please like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, whatever it is. Anything means the world. And yeah, I'll catch you in tomorrow, or sorry, Monday if we trade. If we don't, we'll find out. Find out together. I'll see you guys then. Peace.